You are listening to part 6 of the podcast series, 15 Laws of Growth.
The law of design. To maximize growth, develop strategies, priorities. Let's talk about that for a moment. The moment that I understood priorities, I realized that there are times in a day that I work more effectively than other times. Let me ask you, let's just do a little poll here. How many of you would raise your hand and say, John, I'm a morning person. That's when I'm a mess. How many of you are morning people? Let's see, the morning people, okay? How many of you are night people? You're just awesome at night. Oh, that's interesting. More, I think probably 65% are night, about 35% are. How many of you are like me? You're not morning, you're not night, but you are awesome at lunch. That is a spiritual gift of mine. I just really am good at lunch. Now I'm kidding you. I'm a morning person. So what I do in the morning, I do my most important work in the morning. That's why I love getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I love getting up early. Nobody else is up. I mean, nobody's going to bother me. Nobody wants to talk to me. Hey, that's why I never have breakfast with people in the morning. Even when I was a pastor, people say, boy, could I see you for breakfast? No. Why? That's when I'm going to do my sermon preparation. That's when I'm going to do my study, because I'm a morning person. And can I tell you something? Whatever, if you're a night person, it's just the excellent. Listen, wherever you're good, whatever part of the day you're good, this is a system. Wherever you're good, here's what you got to do. In the times that you're good, you ought to only be doing the things that are your strengths and give you the return. And you should be doing nothing else. You got to stay in your time zone as far as the strength of your time zone and keep it maximized right there. Let's look at measurement for a moment. All systems have measurement in them. So how do you measure yourself? Again, one of my systems is the last week of every year, I review my whole previous year. And I get my calendar out, and I literally spend that last week going day by day, hour by hour, literally day by day, through everything I've done, and I write with my legal pad all the good things that happen, all the bad things that happen. There are people that I spent too much time with, and there are people I didn't spend enough time with, and I just go and I just write all these observations, and for the last 2 or 3 days, all I do is look at my observations and say, now how am I going to change next year? And basically, my reflection of the past year gives me the focus for the next year. Kevin Myers is the one that gave me this statement: reflection turns experience into insight. It's a great statement. And what I'm doing is I'm going through my past year, and I'm saying I'm going to get insight now that I've spent my year there. I've spent a year of my life there. I'm going to pull something out. It's a system. That's all it is. All I'm talking about is systems here for growth. Everyone knows, number 4, application. You have to have application to grow. You just do. If you can't apply what you're learning, you can't grow. So I've got a simple system. It just works for me. Every time I learn something, I ask myself 3 questions. As soon as I learn it, I ask myself, where can I use this? When can I use this? Who needs to know it? Man, I determine that real quick. Because I know that as soon as I've learned something important, where can I use it? When can I do it? When's going to be my first opportunity? And by the way, the quicker you can use something you just learned, the greater that you learn it and the greater that you apply it. Number 5, organization. Of course, if you're going to grow, you got to be organized. You got to be able to prioritize. And what is the number one time waster? The number one time waster is looking for things that are lost. And do you know why people look for things that are lost? Because they didn't have a place to put them in the first place. They didn't have a system.